Hello, this is Eddie Mendoza, and welcome to Pathways of Hope. In the Gospel of John, verse 5, Jesus says, "Apart from me, you can do nothing. Apart from me, you can do nothing." Nothing. Really? I mean, look at the people around you. Whether they are believers of Christ or non believers, aren't we all able to do and live good, meaningful lives without consciously even relying on Jesus? And we find ourselves busy, active, fruitful even, and we're able to build careers or enterprises, successful too, raise families, and overcome challenges. So, what did Jesus mean when he said we can do nothing without him? Well, listen, I think that Jesus had something specific in mind, of course. To do that, it's good to remind ourselves that when God created you and I and all mankind, he created us for his glory and only for his glory. In this passage in John 15, Jesus refers to God as the gardener who plants a vineyard for specific fruit. And Jesus declares that he himself is the vine from which we all, as the branches, are able to bear much fruit to the glory of God. And his warning is simple. If we are not connected to him, Jesus, if we do not abide in Jesus, it will be impossible for us to glorify God on our own, and our lives will be wasted. Remember, Jesus is not referring to human pursuits where we all have become experts even without being connected to him. But if we were to live out our purpose in life, our God given purpose in life, namely to glorify God, then apart from Jesus, we simply cannot do it. Now, may I pull out a related verse in the Bible, this time from the letter of Paul to the Philippians, chapter 4, verse 13. Paul, who had been going through many trials, imprisonments, and obstacles while proclaiming the good news, he said very confidently, he said that despite all these trials and obstacles, he declared, "I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength." He can do all things. Here, when Paul refers to all things, he does not refer to human pursuits, but rather the pursuit of the mission of glorifying God and proclaiming the good news of Jesus Christ. Paul declares that despite all the challenges that he faced, it was through the strength of Jesus in him that he was confident that he could do all that he was called to do. Now, fast forward to today, the challenge for us, my dear friends, is to remember what we were created for and to examine our lives in light of that purpose. Specifically, our use of our time, talent, and treasure, and let's honestly assess how we are able to glorify God in the things that we do, in the way that we live. Do we glorify ourselves or do we glorify God? Now, if we see that we have a long way to go in order to bear fruit that glorifies God, then may I urge you to please consider the invitation of Jesus when he says, "Come, follow me, abide in me, and remain in me. Stay connected to me. Stay with me." And from a practical standpoint, this simply means that if you are distant from Jesus, if you don't spend time listening to him, if you ignore his instructions, if you don't trust him with your very life, then no matter what you do, you will be fruitless in the eyes of God. Yes, you may be the most popular person in the eyes of man, but in the eyes of God, you are nothing. I urge you now, please, to allow the Word of God to prune you. Allow Jesus to instruct you and to guide you and to help you make God glorifying choices. And stay with him. Stay with him. And I urge you to avoid living only for your glory, but instead for God's glory. Again, this is Eddie Mendoza, and I hope and pray that you choose wisely.